But the Democrats have something to offer the Republicans won't do, which is basically a welfare system. I know black Americans that hate that system.
Really?
They can absolutely hate it. You know, like one guy, I spent my life working to get where I'm at. I provided my child with a college education, and instead of getting off their fat ass and going to get a job, they found out they could make more money on government's assistance.
Oh.
So you got a generational problem. You got people that worked. I mean, you got the people of the civil rights movement that worked their god-awful butts off to become something.
They really did during that time period.
I mean, I sat there people that you admire the fact that they would put up with the crap that they put up with, you know, to move up the food chain. And then they have grandchildren that basically, like they said, one guy said, he got his pants down, half down his rear. His granddaughter walks with her chest out. You know, he got like 8 kids, and she's 18 years old. And he said, that's not what we worked our butts off to have happen.
That's true. I bet they're really pissed.
They're mad. They're mad. The same as the Latinos that came to this country.
Or any immigrant.
They come to this country, and their grandchildren basically have total and absolute contempt and disrespect for the country. That, I mean, you got people that died to come to this. Their families died to come to this country. I mean, we'll put it this way. My father lost 12 brothers and sisters so that him and his sister could be taken out of Germany to come to this country. 12.
Wow.
They sat and died so that the mother and their father, who was a German officer, could get the children out of the country because they didn't like that. Aristocracy was not a good thing to be. But the fact that they're all happy, the monsters and stuff. But still, they died. They fought to the last child so that 2 children would have a chance in this country. 2, which was why I get so pissed off. You lose 12 of your aunts and uncles. I mean, my family on my mother's side, which is more the Indian on that side than on my father's side, you got awful amount of them died fighting for this country in World War I and World War II. And they have a reason more than anybody else to hate what's going on because they have no life, and yet if you had another war, they'd go fight another war and die for the country because it's their country. This country, you know, when you say that we're never going to be a great country again, like people my age, I mean, I heard on Fox News, a reporter said, well, I understand, you know, from my grandparents and from Tom Brokaw, that this was America's greatest generation, but I don't see why the hell I have to provide money for them. Yeah. That's, you know, that's the grandchildren. We don't think that we should have, they're basically go off in a hole and die. They wouldn't fight for this country. They wouldn't stand up 1 inch for this country. Barack Obama would not stand up for our country. Most of the Democratic Party would not stand up for our country. Like, I'll actually sort of finish it, but my father was in the Battle of Bulge. My father said that he was so deep in the American lines that he ran into Democrats. And my father said, well, you're insulting Democratic members of the nation. And I said, yeah, that's my father. I said, yeah. And, you know, my father wasn't necessarily a Republican. He voted, my father had this weird idea, you want the candidates going to help you the most.
Well, don't the people mainly vote by their pocketbooks?
Yep, they not anymore. And basically it's all party affiliation because, but you know, I did it years ago. I got pissed off at a local newsman. Basically, he used you know, he had this phony name, you know, Paul. You know, he wasn't a Paul, but you know, he said that, you know, he was always amazed at the electoral process, how the best man. Well, each party was always selected with a job, and I pointed out to the fact that the guy he told me he didn't know what he was talking about because he said the party selects who's going to be it. The public had no choice in the matter. The party puts X amount of people up, and that's who you got to choose from. He said that's not, and he basically slammed me over the air. And it wasn't about 30 seconds after he basically is kicking my ass all over the air that he got called off the air up to talk to the station manager. He said, "What the hell were you doing?" He said, "That's the political process. The people don't." He said, "What do you mean the people don't?" He said, "This is America. And he said the political parties choose who the candidates are going to be. He said, well, that's not right.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done. So he had to make an on-the-air apology about 5 or 6 minutes after he was basically, oh yeah, they fired his ass too. They didn't want that person to cut. You can't have an on-the-air newsman basically making a personal attack on somebody that's a moron also. So, but that was 1960 something. And it hasn't changed any. The party's gotten worse. Try running for, they're trying to get rid of this Green guy in South Carolina.
Which group? Oh, yeah.
I mean, so he won the election because nobody wanted the candidate the party put up.
So he won.
He won. Basically what happened is they didn't want that candidate. This is what happened. Barack Obama got elected because this is what the Republicans did. They sat and put their butt on their hands and didn't push the things.
See, not voting is just as bad.
That's how you got a Democratic Congress, because you don't remove Republicans from Republican areas unless you don't vote.
That's right.
The same as you don't remove a Democrat. Nancy Pelosi's going to get voted back in. They don't even like her in San Francisco.
Because she's from a Democratic area.
That's right, because they just go flip Democrat. I mean, like Cicero. My grandfather was, one of my relatives was Republican, the other one was Democrat. She would go in, flip the thing, Democrat ticket all the way, he'd go in and flip Republican ticket all the way. If he voted for a bond issue, she'd vote against the bond issue. If he voted for a tax reduction, she'd vote for the tax rate. Because she was a diehard Democrat, he was a diehard Republican. It's what happens. My father was Republican, my mother was a Democrat. I mean, it was warfare when it came to voting time. I mean, she'd vote in one section of Los Angeles, he'd vote in another section of Los
Oh gosh,
Angeles.
they wouldn't even vote in the same area.
They wouldn't even go to the same area. She'd vote by where she was working, and he'd vote just
Oh,
any
well,
place.
I guess it makes sense. You vote by where they're working.
But that's not how it's supposed to be done. They give you voting areas you're supposed to go to. She would just simply, rather than to go where she knew that my father might come and vote, she would go, 5 miles from where she was working and find a polling place she could go vote. Because my Angelique was basically an ungodly left-wing Democrat. And I'm a conservative liberal. I mean, I believe in fiscal conservative, but I'm in the entertainment industry, which means I'm a liberal. So, but this is a long-winded thing about our country which shouldn't be done. This shouldn't be being done. It shouldn't be. And if the president has his way, it won't ever be done because he wants to shut the internet down. That's going to be one of his last gifts to you people out there. It's called net neutrality, which basically turns the internet over to those people that can most fairly handle the situation for the American public, which is the mainstream media.
Guess what that means?
Yeah, that's right, which means you're never going to YouTube. That's why Google is fighting it so hard. It's because...
And Google's on its advisory board.
And they're basically totally against net neutrality. They don't want this thing that's basically going to shut YouTube down.
No.
You will have no viral videos allowed because they're very dangerous to politicians. I mean, you don't think the Republicans, if they thought that their people they could get away with it, wouldn't vote to shut the internet down too? There are more Republicans that have the internet capability than Democrats. They're totally incompetent using it, but they would shut it down in an instant. Don't. Watch what happens if the Republicans win the House and Senate. If they win the House, you're going to see the president starting to prepare for an exit. If they win the House and Senate, watch Hillary become vice president real quickly. Yeah, so those are the things to watch for. Everybody I know, everybody talking today on television about it, that Hillary is basically, it's why Hillary is becoming more out there now with all these people. More than before, because she's setting up her presidential run no matter what. And they all are going to run against Obama. I mean, you're looking at...
Everybody's coming out.
Dean is going to be running, Hillary's going to be running, Kerry is running. They're all coming out to run against Obama. You don't generally run against a standing president of your party. You have the token thing that's good for the party. That's what Bill Clinton was. Bill Clinton was a token person to run against the candidates because nobody wanted to run against Bush because they knew they couldn't win. So he did the token thing, and then he got the nomination. Okay, when Bush's first term, when second term is over, you get to be president of the United States because they generally don't elect, a Republican 3 times in a row and a
That's
Democrat
right.
3 times in a row. So you just, oh yeah, I'm a young guy. I'm going to be president. I'm going to be president of the United States in 4 years. I'm going to be president. I mean, you can imagine Hillary. We're going to be president and vice president of the United States in 4 years. I mean, the House must
And
have
they got it early.
Yeah, and then because Bush screwed up. No new taxes.
Yeah.
That was the most stupid thing on earth to say. The economy was in 16 months of straight growth when he became, the economy wasn't going backwards. And then when Bill Clinton took president, the economy became,
Yeah,
took it
that was
backwards.
his own fault. He should have won
I mean,
that.
he screwed, Clinton wiped out the economy for 2 years with the stuff that he did. And then he basically got religion, mostly because Hillary probably kicked his ass. You want to be president again, you're going to have to do some cooperation there. So, because it's all about the Clintons. They will do no harm to this country, because if you do harm to this country, you do harm to the Clintons.
That's right.
So,
And that's one thing you can count on.
right, she will cooperate with the Republicans. She'll get, I knew Edward Kennedy. Edward Kennedy was as fierce a left wing as they come. But the idea was to get the job done. You basically played games. You give a little in order to get everything you wanted. I mean, Obama could have had his health care program. Obama could have had his finance bill. He could have had all of this stuff by simply dealing with people that wanted to deal with him. Republicans wanted to deal with him. They would have given him a health care program that would have worked. They'd have given him a stimulus plan that would have worked. They'd have given him things that would have worked. But he didn't want to do it that way. And,
Yep.
But watch, if Hillary becomes vice president, he's on his way out within months.
You really think so?
Yeah. He's planning it now. He's planning an escape route. And I don't think he intends to stay in this country. I think he's planning to go out of this country. Like on the first flight out that he can get.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. I had this opinion. He was either going to be president for life, or he was going to get impeached. So this is the only. Yeah. So this is the only way to avoid impeachment. If the Republicans take charge, they're going to go after him.
Well, part of it is if he steps down, they may not go after him.
They'll go after him
No, they think they
because every other word out of his mouth is George Bush and the Republicans. They're going to go after him. I mean, you're talking 2 more years of ungodly vendetta by another party. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years against Bush. It's going to be 2 years against Obama, and he's not going to want to stay around. That's why Hillary is going to be. You don't think the Republicans want to prove Hillary as vice president in 10 seconds?
Oh, yeah.
Because they know what's coming. They know she's going to be president. And they know that she's going to help correct all the problems. If they send her something up, she'll work with the Republicans to fix health care. Because this was her baby to begin with, and she pushed it too far, and basically got caught with her pants down. She pushed it too far. She won't do that again.
Yeah,
She'll
she's
make
already
it work
learned.
the next time, because then it will put her stamp on it, not Obama's. Obama will be listed as a failure. She would be listed as the savior of the healthcare system. And
Sounds like the relief pitcher.
yeah, she's like the relief pitcher. She's coming in. Watch her. If she comes in, Obama's on the way out. That's the simple way to end it. If Hillary comes in, Obama's leaving. So, no more. This is old Cam.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And for more information,
You can go to www.montebubbles.net on the net and see our little thing.
and wherever you're watching us, subscribe to us, follow us. Oh, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, and our news video web in 3D.
Yeah, watch our daily newscast. That's right, because we
We
always
do-
forget to plug all that.
We do it. We do news. We're doing about 20 minutes a day in 3D. Nobody else does anything in 3D a day. We do.
And thank you once again for over 40 million links on the internet.